Welcome. It's another edition of Your Image Public Relations Program on TV. Last week, we were talking about abating substance abuse in the society, and I had with me our guest, Pastor Anthony Ogbemudia Ogbebor, a health, education and drug abuse prevention director in the Neuropsychiatric Hospital, ABEOKUTA. Thank you for being with me.
It's a pleasure, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
This week, I have the privilege of being added onto, and I have with me OLORI, AMEENAH, ADELEYE, MATEMILOLA, the OLORI of Olowo of Owo, His Majesty, Oba Professor Saka Adelola Matemilola, the Olowo of Owo Kingdom. Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me, sir.
It's a pleasure having you, and thank you for all you've been doing on the issues of drug abuse and the advocacy issues.
Thank you, sir.
The two guests are with me, and we will continue our discussion. And just recently, you launched a foundation called SOLACE Foundation on Substance Abuse and Mental Health Advocacy Group. Can we have a knowledge on why you came up with such a project?
Well, when ABEOKUTA resumed office, because I would say that his work really is office work. When he resumed to serve his people, the first thing that came to his mind was the youths, and that has been a burning issue really, even in Nigeria as a whole. And one of the issues that we have with our people generally is also the use of substances and abusing it, of course, and this is invariably causing a lot of mental health issues. We've seen quite a number of people because of the substance abuse do very funny situations, you know, that they found themselves, and we watching them, of course, know that it is because of the abuse of these drugs, and so swinging into action to ensure that these our youths, you know, are directed properly and guided well, such that we can have a better society to live in.
I would like to ask you, the area of intervention is unique, and does it have any connection with the academic knowledge that the OBA possesses that has made this kind of research, and looking into the critical area of need in the society? Does it have any effect?
Well, the truth is, it goes without saying, sir, very honestly, that we need to begin to care for ourselves and our people. The truth is, he thought about this mainly because he knows very well that we have a lot of issues in this area, and the earlier we address it, the better for all of us in the society. You know, so it is out of the fact that in Nigeria today, or in the world today, is either you have an uncle, or a sister, or a brother, or a cousin, or even the individual having been a user before and changing his or her ways. And so one can't shy away from it. And I believe that's the reason why, you know, everybody finds it important, or ABEOKUTA did find it important to actually deal with, because it's not only the user that actually gets himself burnt, but the relatives of the user are even more disturbed than even the user, because hardly does he or she even know what is happening to them. You know, it is those who are seeing them that are even affected the most. So that must be, you know, a major reason why anybody at all should want to look into this issue and address it.
Pastor Ogbebor, the Neuropsychiatric Hospital must be very happy to have a partner in the SOLACE Foundation.
Yes.
I want to ask you, is there any connection between substance abuse and mortality rates in the nation?
Well, there is no much connection because substance abuse is a chronic relapsing illness. It doesn't kill so easily, but it incapacitates the individual and make the individual not to be able to function in what he's doing. It takes time before the person dies. It's not an illness that just kills suddenly. I said the person goes into overdosage of whatever substance he or she is consuming. But like Olori said, the individual problem will rub on not just the individual alone, the family, the immediate neighbors, and the society. Everybody, substance abuse problem is everybody's problem. Because when someone is on drug, they will look for money to sustain the habit. If they cannot find, they will steal from the family. If they can't find from the family, they go to the neighbor. And then they can become violent, they could rape, they could do all manner of criminal things. And so, at the end of the day, it snowballs on everybody.
I asked that question because on the video that was illustrated during the launch of SOLACE Foundation, we found out that some individuals were knocking their heads on the wall,
Yeah.
and they were doing extraordinary things
Yes.
with the intake of that drugs
Yeah.
or substance abuse. What are the implications of such actions?
The individual will suffer a severe head injury like that. Okay. They could have cause other people to have an accident. They themselves, they get involved in a lot of multiple accidents, and then they could actually kill. They commit a lot of homicide. But funny enough, a lot of them escape it. They could kill people and still be alive. And they will be arrested, they will be tried and all that. And so they themselves, they have a way of protecting themselves, except when it revolts to violence, from court group or from a rival group in the joint, then where they could stab themselves to death. But the drug use is such that those who are indulging it, they have a way of getting their body to get used to it over time. So it will capacitate them, but will not necessarily kill them immediately. Like that man, there are people who sympathize and arrest him and take him to the hospital and all that, and you may be surprised he will survive it. Okay.
Well, when you look back, until recently, we've been having a minor issues concerning drug abusers. Concerning drug abuse going into some deadly activities. Why is it rampant now?
It's rampant now because a lot of people have access to the internet. Children, youth generally, and in the school, and then they fraternize with their peers all over the world, just at the click of a button. And most of these things, they learn them on the internet. There was a situation that happened somewhere in town, I think it's up to 2 years now, a year ago, where a young chap beheaded the girlfriend. And he said he learned it online, how to do that. And that is how they learn most of these things. Most of these drugs are not actually produced here, okay? But they get access to them. You can order some of these drugs on your phone, and then you get delivery. And that is the problem of the age, really. The IT world has opened up the world and made the world a global village, so people can learn a lot of things that were not there when we were growing up.
Olori, and we really appreciate the effort of the group in coming up with this project. Are you having partners? And how have you been connecting with the needed people at this instance, at this crucial time of our nation?
Well, when we started, like the name suggests, it's SOLACE Substance Abuse and Mental Health Advocacy Group. So we started as a group just to create awareness. So we are not exactly in the core business of trying to treat substance abuse users or persons living with mental health issues, but we're just creating awareness, you know, and of course we're getting some level of partnership with the community members, because we decided that it should be community-led, because that way when they take ownership of the project, then you would see a bit more commitment from them, you know, on how to ensure that they not only create awareness, but create that environment where we could have, like we had yesterday, counselors come in, trained counselors come in to talk to people who are abusers, substance abuse persons, or persons living with mental health issues. So that's one way we've been able to make sure that it's community-led and the community has, you know, takes ownership of the project. So we are just standing as an awareness support group, would be supporting government wherever, you know, government wants us to support in whichever way. What we're doing right now, creating awareness, is supporting government really, you know, too, because government also is at the helms of affairs concerning, you know, these issues, and several other bodies, you know, like ARO, we've been partnering with them, you know, trying to make, like we did the training for counselors, you know, so we partnered with them on that, and we're seeking for people, you know, to come either as an individual or as a group to join us in this.
So far, who are your partners?
So we have NDLEA, we partner with them too, in creating this awareness too, talking in schools, and then ARO, like I mentioned before, one of our partners. We have two other private, you know, institutions that are also NGOs that are partnering with us.
What of the role of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria?
Yeah, the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria have featured in a lot of our programs, you know, and we're really very happy about that. We'll call it a partnership of some sort, because every time we call on them, they actually, you know, come running, you know, to ensure that they deliver their own part of their own story concerning substance abuse and why people shouldn't, you know, should stop doing.
When you look at your success so far, can you give us maybe those partners that you are still searching for that can collaborate and help you in this crusade?
Well, we've kept it open, honestly, sir, because it's one thing to call and another for people to, you know, to respond. So we've kept it very open, and not to point accusing fingers at people to say, you ought to be, you know, at the forefront of this, but you've left us to do it. We don't want to do that, really. So what we've continued to do is just keep it open and continue to talk to people, whether as an individual, whether as a group, whether as, you know, concerned individuals should please come, join us, and let's clean our society.
Pastor Ogbebor?
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you, when you look at the support you'll be receiving in the neuropsychiatric hospital, ABEOKUTA, what do you advise? What is your vision to create a better environment where individuals can live in sanity?
Well, in approaching that, we start with the family.
Okay.
The family has a lot to do. The parents, they have to start by educating their own children and world about the danger inherent in substance use. The child starts from the home before going to the society. And so the parents need to monitor their children and know what they are doing. Then create an environment for them that is healthy for them to thrive. If a child comes from a background that is full of violence and that is you know, hostile, the likelihood of them going into substances is very high. Then the school. In those days, we have a lot of activities in secondary school especially. youth sports and inter-house sports and inter-school
extracurricular
activities. There is need to revisit all those things. This will keep the young mind busy, and they will have little or no time for such destructive tendencies like going into substance use. Then the government too, the community need to create, a healthy competition among the youth in the community. Engage them, especially during the holiday period, the festive period, engage them positively. And then let the community leaders who are well-loved identify some of these youth and sponsor them. That will encourage a lot of them to see that education is something that one should aim at. Encourage competitiveness, healthy competitiveness in the community. Not necessarily education alone. If we have a child who is learning trade and is good at it, a community leader can sponsor such child, trade, and buy implement for the child, and others will be encouraged. And then when we see those who are deviating, then we should take steps to correct them. Then the government need to do a lot. We need to put in place things that will make children to want to learn. And then when they are out of school, the government need to create employment for them. And when we do all of this, then it will help us a great deal.
Well, I don't know whose responsibility it is guiding against drug abuse in vocational areas. We can see that the group of artisans and maybe a lot of entrepreneurs, we found out that a lot of substance abuse is amongst them. Yes. It is prevalent. It is what you can see every day on our streets. You see these Okada riders and the like, the way they behave on the road. Why is it difficult for us to have a system or an organ that will be able to organize such people and make them into productive system?
It's our collective responsibility. The Okada riders, the artisans who use this, if you go to new sites where constructions are ongoing, you see a lot of them abusing substances. They buy them from somewhere. And those who are into such trade, they have their shops or kiosk in a home. So someone owns that property. And if we see such and we need to talk, we need to correct them, and if they are not ready to change, then we have a right to report them to NDLA.
Whose responsibility is it?
The landlord who houses the shop owner who is selling all these things. Because most of these things are not just the socially acceptable alcohol. They go ahead, some of them sell Indian hair and some of these drugs. They inside, they keep them, they hid them. But those who patronize, they know how, they have language. The drug users, they live in a sub-culture. They have their language, they have their science, they are very good in non-verbal communications. So they can come in here and be discussing, and you and I may not know. I say you are used to them. So if the shop owner, the landlord or landlady or the caretaker could raise objection to he or she selling such in his premises, and then the Okada owner who gives a young man Okada to ride could raise objection to it, and we'll find that all these things go a long way. If we leave everything to NDLA or to the government, it will be difficult.
Olori, yes. This social perversion, incidences of social perversion that we're experiencing nowadays, why is it difficult for government establishments to curb and control all these individual challenges? And of course, you see that in those days, we used to have, maybe in the Ministry of Environment and Social Development and Information, you see a group of officers monitoring activities with the vicinity and ensuring that they give feedback to government. And such people, when they were seen, they are arrested or taken to custody. The other issue is the incidences of people with mental health moving around on the streets and causing unfavorable environment to the nation. Why is it? What do you advocate to happen so that we can curb our environment of such incidences?
Well, again, I would benchmark on collective responsibility. It's everybody's responsibility, really. Because if you say that, okay, the landlord needs to have raised an objection, what if it is the landlord who is selling the drugs? What if it is, you know, the head of the Okada riders that is selling it? What if it's, you know, there's a lot of what ifs. So I would rather benchmark on collective, you know, responsibility. Those who are concerned citizens should please come out and speak up. It's very important. We can't continue to sit down and say, well, it doesn't concern us because it has nothing to do with any of our children. But these are people that our children will become friends with. You don't want to say that, oh no, my child will never know XYZ, you know. I know a couple of vulcanizers who are my friends, you know, because I take I used to take my car to them, you know, so they become my friends. And I noticed that some of them smoke, you know, marijuana. And I have, you know, once or twice said to them, yes, to them, you know, that, you know, in our local parlance, now that you're smoking this, will you know what to do with the guys? They said, that's what even makes them, charges them up. I said, no, please, keep this aside, you know, do what you have to do with my car, and then let them, but of course, after a while, you're going back to them again to fix the same car, and then you're saying, I told you not to do what you did.
And they can cause damages.
And they can cause even more, even to themselves, you know, so it's a collective. Back in the days, everybody was everybody's parent. Every child was everybody's child.
Why I feel lost it?
Honestly, it beats me, sir. You know, it's a question that if I said to answer it, I may not be doing full justice to it. So it's something that everybody needs to begin to think about. You know, let everybody's child be your child. Show love, show concern for people, you know. And the truth again about this thing is, you know, some people are really going through so much because aside from peer pressure and all that, there's some people who actually go into taking drugs out of, you know, having been traumatized. You know, some people have passed through some kind of, you know, situation in their life, and there's no other way for them to, you know, express themselves or, you know, kind of put some kind of confidence in themselves than to take some of these drugs. Because if you ask them, they'll say, oh, it gives them confidence. You know, it gives them, you know, everybody has their own, you know, thing to say about what drug does to them. But the bottom line is that it is gross abuse and should not be allowed to fester anymore in our society.
Yeah, a good advice at that. Let me ask you, how do you advise government and the people?
The community need to step up, you know, sensitization and mobilization campaign. Like what OLORI is doing and ABEOKUTA at Owu Kingdom. If every kingdom is doing that, every community CDAs are doing that, then it goes a long way. The religious bodies, the churches, the mosque, they need to talk about this. They raise their voice about this. Invite experts to come and talk to their members and about this. Then the government need to collaborate. They have different agencies who are championing the issue of drugs. The custom, the police, the NDLA, the NAFDAC, they all need to work together to fight this.
Well, it is a collective responsibility. Every one of us must take up a role, support this project for the betterment of our nation, for the betterment of our future of tomorrow. It's been a wonderful time having the OLORI, AMEENAH, ADELEYE, MATEMILOLA, the OLORI of Owu Kingdom, Oba Saka, Adelola Matemilola in our midst. Thank you for bringing succor to the society.
Thank you, sir.
I hope next time we will call on you, you come.
Yes, sir.
Pastor Ogbebor, it's nice having you. Thanks for your great contribution. And we believe that the society must have listened to you. Until next week.
My pleasure, sir.
When we come again with another topic, it is your image. And your anchor is OKUDERO. Thank you for supporting this project. We have a nation to protect. Thank you and goodbye.